Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for being here. My name is Mihan Barrett. I reside in Milton, Massachusetts, and I've had the privilege of serving the families and children of our Commonwealth for the last 20 years in various capacities. I am a clinical social worker, currently working in early intervention. In addition to being a family liaison at an elementary school in Boston. I'm very excited to share the space with you this evening to showcase and celebrate our collective work in advocacy for early childhood education and care. And now it is my honor to introduce my fellow cohort member, Jade.
My name is Jade Rodriguez. Thank you for all of you who are a part of this. I am the executive director currently at Horizons for Homeless Children. I've been the sector for over 23 years, and I've seen so much great changes. So this group is instrumental for my learning opportunities. We were able to meet every month, and we were able to come together to learn more about what we do. And even though we might have different titles in our profession and what we do, there was a lot of common interest in what we discover about each other. We all care passionately and deeply about the work that we do alongside the folks that we work with. Some people would say serve, but I'm in this process where I'm learning that verbiage means and holds a lot of meaning, and especially where I come from, working with families experiencing homelessness, it's even more critical to ensure that we're not stigmatizing the families that we're working alongside with. A little bit about me. I live in Dorchester. I have lived experience in the community that I work in. I am a first generation product of college graduate in my family, well, in my whole relatives family and everything else. I immigrated from Cape Verde when I was 2.5 years old. And I'm also a part of the LGBTQ community as well. How I understand the system and how it works for or against the people is where my why comes in. So I want to be a part of the change, and part of the reasons why I sought out Advocacy Network is to ensure that I understand how policies are created and who's responsible. I know it's for the people, but how can we really drive change without the full understanding of how policy is created? This experience was different from other professional development opportunities for me because it was very intentional. It was something that I sought out. Most presently in my field of work, I have many elected officials coming to the site to understand the work that I do alongside my coworkers. But it's not an intentional moment where I'm really learning the intricacies of how policy is really created. So it was important for me to understand the federal, the state, and the local government and how that all works. And I still have a lot of learning that I intend to do. So I'm embarking on a master's program for advocacy and leadership. So I can continue to further my understanding of how policy and advocacy works. My personal story and history integrated into this experience by being fully present and understanding that the people that we work alongside is not so different from my experience and how I was brought up, and more so it's tackling and understanding how the system works and not really going for, not looking at the people as the catalyst for their problems, but really looking at the system. So to really cultivate change, one has to understand how policy is put into place and how you can really foster that change. So I've been very grateful for this opportunity. It's just a stepping stone to my understanding and learning more. At this time, so I want to introduce Titus to share more about the story of the creation of the Advocacy Network, including the importance of our stories and vision of the network and the support from Boston Children's Hospital. Titus?
Thank you so much, Jade.
You're welcome.
And thank you for your leadership in the community, as well as your learning with us this year. I know that you've learned a lot, and I appreciate that. And I know it will continue in your master's program and beyond. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm Titus Dostromedius, Deputy Director at Strategies for Children, or SFC, as we call ourselves sometimes. And SFC is very proud of the Advocacy Network. This is my favorite meeting every month. We meet monthly with our cohort, and I'm always inspired. I'm always motivated to see what we can teach and also learn from our cohort. This was Amy's dream several years ago, to work with early educators, show them the basics of advocacy, and help them along on their journey, their own personal advocacy journey, prepare them for opportunities, and support them to impact policy. So we've been fortunate to have had support from funders who've helped us do this work. In 2021, we had a grant from the Stone Foundation to launch our Speakers Bureau cohort, which was a 7-week version of the Advocacy Network. We learned our lesson that it's better to try to do this work throughout the year, not just try to rush and do it all in 1 month or 2 months. It's really a year-long immersive experience. So thanks to some funding, and maybe Marissa, go to the next slide, please, and I'll show you who we had in our first cohort for the Advocacy Network, which was fall 2022. We had 7 individuals, early childhood professionals from these areas throughout the state. And next slide, you will see cohort 1 plus cohort 2 represent even more areas of the state. And we continue to grow each year. And really, it's our vision to have an alumni network that covers every region and community in Massachusetts. And we're even recruiting now for cohort 3. So in the next slide, I will say that this would not be possible without our amazing project funder, who is Boston Children's Hospital Collaboration for Community Health. They really understood the importance of advocacy and working with our field, our early childhood professionals, to achieve systemic change. So a special thank you to Aisha Kamartz for her support over the years, and to her colleagues as well, Debbie Lay, Tara Argawal, and also Ali Steiner and Faye Miller, who are the evaluators from Mathematica. We couldn't do this without your support. It gets better every year. And we're very excited for what the future could hold. So our advocates have been very busy this year, and you'll hear more about them in just a second. They've been doing advocacy activities, projects, taking on new leadership roles. So I will turn the microphone over to Leah Cooley, the owner and operator of Wendy's Nursery School in Agawam, who will tell you about her advocacy work this year. Thank you, Leah.
Hi, thanks, Titus. Great to see everybody. I'm Leah Cooley. I have a family childcare in Agawam, Massachusetts, and I've been in the business for 25 years, working with all of my great families and my little peanuts. Our work here for Strategies for Children is so uplifting to our field, and it's so inspiring to work with everyone that's in our cohort this year. We have been working across the state to help benefit all children and families in whatever ways we can. My work has been to start a PowerPoint presentation for cultural humility because as early educators, we are required by EEC to take trainings in diversity. And when it first was told to us that we needed to do that, there weren't a lot of trainings available. So I set out to create a PowerPoint presentation with my coach, Marcella Simpson, who is with Strong Start, and she has guided me along the way, and it's coming pretty good. And I'm hoping to get that presentation out very soon. Also, I've been working in my community to reach out to preschool teachers and kindergarten teachers to see what best way we can work with our kids to get them ready for kindergarten and preschool. With COVID being prevalent, there may be changes that we need to know about, and those lines of communication need to be open, and we need to be ready to listen and pick up some pieces if there are pieces to be picked up. And I've enjoyed my cohort time here with Strategies for Children. I continue to want to do work with them. I love the 9:30 calls with Amy. It's always something new that I've learned, and I'm willing to continue to keep learning and keep advocating for our families and the children that we serve.
Leah, can you talk a little bit about your work during COVID as a family child care provider and how you got connected to other, parts of the system?
Yes, I can talk about that. I did serve through COVID. It was a pretty scary time. It was tough. We didn't know, if we were going to get sick, if the kids we were going to be taking care of would be sick. But we also knew that we needed to somehow help to support our communities. And in supporting our communities, we actually opened the door in case our families got sick or we got sick, so that those doctors and nurses who were serving the public could help. I got connected with Strategies for Children initially through meetings with Commissioner Sam about the regulations that we needed to follow serving the children here. And Amy was instrumental in helping, our Strategies for Children was instrumental in helping get us protective equipment and getting timely information on those regulations that were coming out. And if that hadn't have happened, I think we would have all probably been lost in that situation. So I am very grateful for Strategies for Children and the commissioner really stepping up to the plate at that time and guiding us through it, because we knew that we could take care of these children. We just needed to know the best possible and safe way to do it. And they did guide us through.
Thanks, Leah. And just Leah, so you can see there's a chat from Marcella. Leah, you're an integral professional in Western Mass, and I'm honored to know and work with you. You are a power advocate, and I'm wishing you the very best.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Marcella, very much.
I love that. And thank you, Leah, for sharing and doing all this hard work in the community. I'm proud of you all. And so I am J-Lise LeBlanc, and I'm the program assistant for the Advocacy Network at Strategies for Children. I have been an early educator for over 10 years now, which is crazy. Mostly working with preschool age children. And now my job is to support the advocates in reaching their goals and being a first point of contact for them. And I really am very proud of the work that everyone has done. I've seen everyone from day one through now, and it's been amazing what everyone has accomplished. So on the next slide, I'd like everyone to take a look at some of the highlights for the year. This includes just a really small look at what people have done, some of the projects they've done or the works they've been doing in their community. So I'd like to take just a minute for, people to glance over that.
But if there are advocates that want to share a little bit more about your projects, why don't you come off mute or raise your hand and I can spotlight you for folks.
Hi, so it's actually more of even a celebration. Just last week, I know it's been a couple of months advocating for nature-friendly sensory playgrounds in Worcester. And just last week, we got an invitation for an extension of both the the support that we are getting from EEC, just so that they can see this to completion. And that spoke volumes because they got to see that it was, it was worth giving it more time so that we are able to get more partners on board. And we are so honored to have so many manufacturers of some structures that will help in this being achieved in Worcester. So I'm just celebrating today because last week we were granted an extension for support.
That's great news. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share quickly about their project? Go ahead, Pari.
I just want to tell you, I'm in the middle of inviting our mayor to my daycare and to my family childcare. So
Parisa, who have you had visit your program so far?
I had Senator Mike Rush. I had, oh my God, I forgot, our city rep.
So Representative Rob
and-
Consalvo.
And also Miss Kendra.
Right, so you had your city councilor, your state
Yes.
rep,
The
your state senator,
state senate, yes.
and now who are we working on inviting to your program?
Inviting mayor, and then next is gonna be, I spoke to you, I want to get I don't know, someone from the state,
Like who, Parisa? Who do you want to have invite?
I can't say, I'm still, I don't know.
Parisa wants to invite Governor Healy to come to her program.
But I'm so scared, I don't know how I'm gonna get up there, so it's a lot of step to get there, so.
We're gonna figure it out together. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And at this time, I also want to welcome our Secretary of Education, Secretary Tutwiler. Hello, we're so glad you could be with us. I'm going to give you a moment to continue to listen.
Yeah.
And so we just are so happy that you're here tonight and look forward to hearing from you in a bit.
Sure.
And Sarah, I think I'll turn things over to you because I hear you're out of town and your phone is on limited life.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Mule. I hope you can hear me. I am talking to you from Universal Studios. I'm trying to stand away from all the crowds and all the noise. I apologize for that. But I wanted to just talk about Kristen McSwain, who leads the Office of Early Childhood as director and as senior advisor to the mayor of the city of Boston. The connection that she made with all of us was really incredible. And I could not thank her enough for meeting with us and just really talking through what she does in her work and what she has done previously to build on how she provides care for families and children across the state of Massachusetts. And it was a very inspirational time listening to her and to find out more about, how she has made an impact and how we can continue to make an impact as a group of people, even, alone or as a group. I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, was just knowing that you can do it no matter what. And the fantastic support that I have from this group of people here, as well as the connections I've made networking throughout, during the pandemic when Amy started the 9:30 call. And I really didn't know a lot of people. And I think it was pretty incredible that I was able to, see people that I knew and also meet people that I didn't know who were all supporting each other throughout the pandemic. And just knowing that those people were there. And Donna Danette, who was my biggest support advocate, I think, who was just like 413 all the way. Let's carry this through and get people going, and really excited about continuing the work with children and families, regardless of the fact that we had this pandemic going on. And I felt really inspired by that as a leader in my community. And so I just want to say thank you so much to not only Kristen, but also to Donna, to Amy and Titus, Jaylee's, Yagnarius. Like, it's just been such an incredible experience for me, and I can't thank you enough. It's been truly an honor to work with all of you,
Sarah,
and I
tell us
hope
a
that I
little.
can continue this work.
Yes, tell us about you and your job and where you live. When you're
So
not in
I am the
California.
director of the Austin Riggs Nursery School in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And I am also part of my DEI committee at the center. I am also part of the steering committee for the Cliff Effect. And I am also a representative for Berkshire County for my my director cohort that meets monthly. And recently I met with our representative, Trisha Farley-Bouvier, to talk to her more about what we need in early childhood education in Western Mass and beyond. And it was a really wonderful experience. I've known Trisha for a really long time, and I think that being part of the Advocacy Network really helped. You know, it was a catalyst to what I do now. So we're definitely doing a lot of great work in the Berkshires, and I hope that, you know, I can continue and make that wave even bigger. I'm excited. I was telling Jaylee earlier, like, anything that any of you do, I want to be a part of it. I want to know about it. I want to learn from you. I want to take your ideas and, you know, keep bringing it, you know, make those waves, because I think that this is an incredible group of people, and I could not be happier to be a part of it. So thank you all very much.
So Shauna, we'll kick things over to you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Shauna Trick. I've been in the field for 25 years. As soon as I could start working, this is what I started to do as an educator. And now I'm the lead coach for the Northeast Professional Development Center through EEC Strong Start. And there I'm a coach and facilitator. And I wanted to touch on talking about making connections. So during this year, we were able to make lots of connections with our advocacy cohort, but beyond that, you know, we really realized how important that was to make connections beyond that. So this year I was able to make connections with other EEC staff in a deeper way, and I was able to have meetings with them and have collaboration meetings to help support my advocacy goals. So first, one of my goals was I was inspired by this cohort to really make resources more easily available. So I was able to meet with Katie DeVita. She's a program support specialist through EEC, and Teddy Kokoris, if I'm going to say his name wrong, sorry. He's also with EEC, the project director, and we discussed a place where a resource library could live, and that's still in the works, of course, but it was great to be able to work with them and you know, build that relationship a little bit further. And I also, you know, through my work as a coach, I've kind of discovered and come to find a really big passion for family childcare centers, which I've never worked in. So the need to support them and to increase their resources and their knowledge was, you know, prevalent. So I was also able to build a form connection with Janet Montoya. She works with EEC as a program development specialist. And I was really fortunate to have this experience to kind of start building a relationship with her. And she was quite generous with sharing her time with me and willing to kind of build that relationship. And so I know I have someone to go to if I have specific questions or need resources. I think something that I learned through this is really that you need to know who you can turn to. And it might be someone that you already know, but to step outside your comfort zone and ask different questions and to build that relationship to a different capacity. And really to, you know, build those relationships and ask questions so that you can meet other people, like I met Janet Montoya, so I can help make up my goals come to fruition.
Thank you, Shauna. it's funny to hear about your networking, your personal growth, with professional networking, because I already assumed you had one of the largest networks in our cohort. Anytime I would send an email to the cohort, Shauna would forward it to these big lists in Lawrence, educators, staff, the other coaches in your network. You helped us with a lot of our advocacy asks and emails and things like that this year. So thank you, Shauna.
Thanks, Titus.
And I also want to thank our guest presenters. So you heard Sarah talk about Kristen McSwain. We are super grateful to this list of all of our guest speakers who attend our monthly meetings. And you can see them here. The Senator Sal DiDomenico representing the State House and that perspective. Nico Mendoza, who has formerly worked for Senator Elizabeth Warren in Congress. So we got to learn about the federal policy and advocacy and the perspective of a staffer in Congress. And also the local policies and infrastructure that Kristen brought to us, as well as speakers from Strategies for Children. Neri helped us with our elevator pitch. Thank you, Neri. Had a few workshops on that and really helped our cohort just get a little more confident and organized with, I think, public speaking, messaging, and so forth. And of course, we did the Advocacy 101 trainings as well. And it's not on this list, but I wanted to thank Jaylise LeBlanc, who is our program assistant, who coordinated all of our guest speakers for us. And more than that, Jaylise really did help make this year possible. We did not have a program assistant in the first cohort. And I noticed a huge jump when we were able to have that capacity. And Jaylise, came aboard this year to provide a lot of one-on-one support, a lot of group support for the cohort, emails, organization, and more. So thank you, Jaylise, and thank you to all our guest presenters from the year. So next, we start our year off by sharing our why, because when we know our why, our what is more impactful. And we learned that at the first meeting in the fall. So Wairimu is here to teach us a little bit about her why and share her motivation for the work with us. Wairimu Macharia is a parent leader and mediator at Family Services of Central Massachusetts in Worcester.
Hi, everyone. Extremely happy and excited to be here today, just because it's a reflective moment of where we began, where we are now, and where we're going. So I'm so happy. So thank you so much, Titus, for that introduction. And for the entire team, I believe I speak for everyone when we say thank you so much for being there, working with us. And I'm sure this interactions will go beyond today. So thank you very much. When we all ask our why, I'm sure everyone goes back to the drawing board. But as far, I believe it is divine. Like, just to know your why is very divine, because my why will always speak louder than my how and my what and my when. So why be an advocate? Why focus on children? So to begin with, I am a firstborn daughter. So nurturing is also there for my siblings. I am a wife, I am a sister, I'm a friend. But above all, I hold a gifted position that comes with the blessing of both being a custodian and being a steward. And that is the role of a mother. I am a mother to 3 children, 10, 8, and 6. So if you look at those ages, that has definitely been my why, because if you move back, there was a time where it was 3 under 5, So I am from Kenya, and I was here some time back for my college life. I always say I have a phase 1 experience and a phase 2 experience in this country. So phase 1 without children, phase 2 with children. And I tell you that I felt like I had never been in this country before. So it is just being in that position, first of all, to get some knowledge, to be able to know how to guide not just other people, even myself, in raising these children and raising them right. And how do you raise them right? How do you become a steward in the right way? How do you become a custodian in the right way? By being knowledgeable, and also by knowing what to ask, when to ask, and how to ask for resources, for, you know, for their rights, for children's rights, and even as parents. So that's my why, the reason that I need to be a better parent, the reason that I need to advocate for other people. And by advocacy, I mean also representing those ones who are not able to maybe be as articulate as I could be, those ones who do not have a chance to be in such spaces, and also to exercise my empathetic side. Like, if I put myself in other people's shoes, what is it that I can be able to fill that gap with by being an advocate? So it's been an amazing experience. As Titus mentioned earlier, I am a mediator, currently in the housing section between landlords and tenants, and also focusing on documenting households that children have been affected, so that we are able to also lead them to the right resources. So it's been, from the very first time I discovered being in this country, I needed to have some answers to also, you know how to best support my children. I found that an opportunity to do that, not just for me, but for many other people. So as I also, wind up my why, I want to end, with that, a quote from Mark Twain that says, the two most important days are the days you are born and the day you discover why you were born. So let's all be in those spaces. And I will also, now I will welcome an amazing cohort colleague who is always smiling, who has been an educator, and also a family childcare provider, and that is Nola. Welcome. Just what is your why as well?
Thank you so much, Wairimu, and that was really inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. My name is Nola Glatzel, and I'm the director of Earth Star Play School, which is a family child care program in Truro, Mass. And I knew that I wanted to work with children and work to build community from an early age. I really looked up to all of my teachers, especially my teacher, Rudell, who was a family child care provider and who saw me for who I was and encouraged my play and my interests so much. I chose to transition from teaching in an elementary school to starting my family child care in Truro for this reason, and also because I saw that there was such a need for early childhood programs on the Outer Cape. I wanted to make a positive contribution to my hometown community, and I saw how much we were struggling to maintain a sustainable year-round population. So I wanted to do my part to make sure that families could stay here and live in our town. I joined the Advocacy Network and started to do more advocacy work because as I became a family child care provider and came to know the system we work within, I experienced firsthand the ways our current system let down early educators, parents, and children. It became clear to me that there was a gap between the amount that families can pay for child care and the true cost of child care. And I also noticed the devaluation of early childhood education, especially family child care, in discussions about education in our state and in our country, and especially the devaluation of care, which is an essential part of teaching young children, which I know that everyone in our community knows. I wanted to take action to improve the quality of care for children and the accessibility of care for parents and guardians, and also the feasibility of working in this field for the teachers of our youngest children, myself included. Finding my why has really helped me to return to my work each day and to know why I'm waking up and doing this, because as we all know, working with young children can be really challenging, and working in this field can be really challenging at times. So lastly, I just wanted to say I'm so grateful for all the support and encouragement that I found in the Advocacy Network. It's really been a wonderful experience. So I want to say thank you to everyone at Strategies for Children, and thank you to all of my cohort members and all of our guest speakers, and even the cohort members from last year who came back to visit us and encourage us. And now I am happy to introduce my fellow cohort member, who is also a family child care provider, who we got to hear from before, and who is so inspiring in bringing a lot of elected officials to her program, and that is Parisa. Thank you so much.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Parisa Mariam Fakhri. I came to this country when I was very, very young. I was around maybe 19 years old, and it was my parents' wish to be for their kids to be in a medical, to be going to school to be a doctor or dentist. But I always knew that in my heart wanted to work with the kids, and I follow what it was in my heart. I started to be a preschool teacher for ABCD for a long, long time. And then I started to open up my own business as a family childcare. I am very, very proud because it was last year around this time when I found out about Advocacy Network, and when I was getting a lot of email, and I was wondering who Amy is. So I tried to email her back, and I found out all about Advocacy Network. And when I talked to Titus, I wasn't sure that if I was able to do this as an advocate, but he really gave me a lot of encouragement. So it's been almost a year. Now I feel very empowered as an individual that I could make difference and to advocate for the kids in Massachusetts, because I know there are a lot of kids in Massachusetts that need help. And sometimes we need, as all of us need to work together for that. And so during the COVID, it was very difficult. We all were closed. My daycare was closed. Everybody's daycare were closed. So, and it was maybe a month or 2 months that my daycare was closed. And when I opened up, I was getting a lot of phone calls from the family who were looking for a childcare. And I didn't have any opening. Directing them to other family, there wasn't any opening. So that was my time was that I started, no, I need to do something. I need to make some difference. That's how I got involved with advocacy. And I learned a lot from the experience. One of the things that I can say is that I'm a business owner, an educator for the community. That is a very support for the community, for the parents who want to bring their kids to my daycare. And I'm also is a employer that hire 2 other people to work for me. So as a family childcare, we do a lot. I want the policy maker to come and see our daycare, what we do. Always I see people going to the center, but not much visiting family childcare. And we do a lot. We educate the children, we do lesson plan, we do individualization, daily activity. So this is one of the things that I decided for the family childcare to advocate and invite the policy makers to come to my family childcare to see what we are doing. So now, thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone at the group, in the group, and thank you, Jaylene, thank you so much. The individual time that you spend with me, calling you, sending you messages and helping me. Thank you, Amy, for being so positive to me and always being there when I talk to you. You say, yes, you know, we can do that. You can get I can help you. And thank you, Titus. I don't think I could be here if it wasn't because of you guys. And now I will give a turn to my colleague, Sydney.
Thank you, Parisa. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you. My name is Sydney Hamilton. I am the Empowerment Director and Eureka Coordinator for Gladys Allen Brigham Community Center, located in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. I was asked to share a couple things, an aha moment and 2 lessons I've learned. I feel like my aha moment has been throughout this whole experience, but more recently, I feel like there has been a lot of attention drawn to childcare and what we need to be doing to support childcare workers and support the children more. So the C3 grant funding has been amazing, and I have seen it work for my agency personally. But one of my passions and one of my biggest roles is the Eureka program. And Eureka is a STEM program that actually starts in 6th grade, but leads a group of girls up through when they graduate high school. And I was very happy to find out that the House passed the final FY24 budget and Eureka was included in that. So now we can continue to run this program. And it can be a program that will really be beneficial for the girls that I work with. 2 lessons learned. I feel like there was a lesson every meeting, more than every meeting, every 9:30 call. But 2 of the biggest lessons I learned is that I think as child care workers, we are innovative. We are consistently trying to think of new ways to support our agencies or to support our family child care centers and to support our children, making sure that they are having a good time, making sure that they have the supports we need. And sometimes we got to get really creative with it, but it's what we have to do and we continue to do it. And then I think my second lesson learned is that everybody's advocacy journey is different. I've learned that through all of you with so many like different stories and so many different projects. And I've learned that through myself, you know, my advocacy journey, I felt like started small, and I feel like it's only going to help me progress. The fact that like I've seen what you all are doing, and that gives me the drive to do more as well. But with that, I'm going to pass it to Amy.
Thanks so much, Sydney. And it has been so inspiring. We're using the spotlight function so that we can really see folks. We will take it off at the end when we celebrate everybody. But I'm Amy O'Leary, the Executive Director at Strategies for Children. And we are just so honored, proud, grateful, kind of full of grace and hope for the future of the Commonwealth when you hear the folks who are doing this hard work every day. I just want to share a couple of highlights from the network for this cohort. So Marissa, if you're going to go to the next slide. These are by the numbers, right? So in 2 years of our advocacy network, we've had 190 total training hours. We've had 724 individuals engaged in advocacy activities, 104 advocacy testimonies, emails, sign-on letters, phone calls, legislator visits, 43 new speaking and leadership roles. And this is one I really want to highlight, because I think as you've heard from participants, having this opportunity to learn from each other as a cohort, get to talk to guest speakers, get to hear from them, think about kind of what that means. Sydney, I love what you just said about everyone's journey is different, and leadership looks different for folks. It depends kind of where you are in your life, where you might be in the state. And what has been most inspiring to see people just kind of going for it, to putting themselves out there and seeing themselves as leaders, because we know how incredible that is. And then 25 media appearances. So each of our network participants was featured on our blog, I on early childhood, and each of our participants came to the 9:30 call to share more about their experience of the network. So that has been an incredible opportunity to kind of practice speaking in front of public, in public, to really share your story with a wider audience. And just as Shauna talked about, to make these critical connections. So we are gonna have Adrian is gonna, and this is where you can find all the blogs. I'll put the link in the chat. So we are going to kind of turn to Adrian, who will introduce herself. She is a family child care provider in Boston, and Adrian's going to talk with us about our voice, and then we're going to turn it over to the secretary.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. And it's so great to kind of be here once again with my fellow cohorts. Again, the times just kind of flew by, and to kind of echo a lot of what everyone's kind of said. It's basically a lot of sentiments, the connections and the support. And I think that we couldn't have imagined how great the Advocacy Network would have been for us through this journey. So let me just touch again, as Amy had mentioned, Adrian Armstrong. I have a family childcare in Boston. I've been doing this probably about 12 years now, and loving every minute of it. So a couple of points that I want to touch on are my experience with the Advocacy Network, what's been most helpful, why our voice matters, and the project that I'm working on. So my experience with the Advocacy Network, oh my goodness, we could be here all night, but one of the most insightful things at the top of the list would be the fact that the Advocacy Network has pushed me to be more present, more intentional, more present, and it's from the community level up to the state level, the state health level. And that's been inspiring. I think a lot of us can kind of attest to not realizing how much we can contribute and at what level we can truly get involved in. The most helpful part of this is that our voice matters. And I think a lot of the times we realize that, but I don't think we touch base and really pinpoint on exactly how that can take from one point to another point, that the efforts that we put in and a lot of the concerns that we have are truly a lot of the concerns that our legislators have, so us pushing the envelope to kind of push what we truly believe in will definitely make the difference in whether a bill gets passed or whether a constituent is actually hearing what we're dealing with or what we're trying to put across the table to them. Again, to the fact of how our voice matters, it's the consistency and the collectiveness of calls and activisms and acting with true intentionality to get whatever it is that we want to get done. And I think that a lot of the times we think that our voice doesn't matter. Oh, well, no one wants to hear. But I think that when we get together collectively, it's amazing on what we can do. And I think in this particular cohort, I think when we get together once a month, we've seen how effective that has been. So realizing that has been definitely a great influence, I think, on a lot of us. And it's not realizing not realizing that we didn't, what we didn't need to know, but it's we don't always need to know the answers, but it's showing up. And I think a lot of us are realizing that if we show up, things get done. So the project that I'm actually working on is a resource for family childcare providers. And I'm still working on the kinks and the logistics of it, but basically providing a central tool, whether you're new or whether you're old, to have something that you can kind of go to. Because a lot of us who are in the business, some of us are siloed and we don't really know how to kind of reach out and get grants, or how to reach out and kind of get developmental trainings, the whole 9 yards. So it's just putting together information for the individuals to kind of use as a resource, and then eventually parlaying that into quarterly meetings so that we can kind of come together collectively to kind of share best practices and to share ideas and kind of move forward and to make our businesses better. So what we want to do is we want to make it great, we want to learn more, and we want to thrive. So I think with that, I just kind of want to say that I think I speak for all of us when I say that the Advocacy Network has been unbelievable. And Titus, to you and your crew, Amy, J-Lease, again, to echo everything that my cohorts had mentioned, it's just amazing that we have learned and grow. And, I believe Sarah was saying, we want to continue to do more. I think once you get a little bit of a taste, you get excited and you want to keep going and you want to keep going. And it's amazing that it's the old cliche, you don't know what you don't know, and once you do, you get a little taste and you want to get happy, you want to kind of move forward with it. So I just want to say that being part of this has been huge, and it's been successful for all of us. And I think we're running away, with so much information, a smidgen of what we thought we knew, and coming away with a huge aspect of what we kind of know now and what we still want to learn more, to Jade's point earlier too. So again, just thanks for everything that the group has done. And I think we all are kind of like, want to say thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much, Adrian. So we'll take down the slides and we'll be able to see everyone's beautiful face. And Secretary Tutwiler, I'd love to turn things over to you to share some thoughts.
I am just awestruck. It is first, let me just say it's an honor to be here with you all this evening. I am so sad that I missed the first part, and I won't talk about what traffic laws and limits I might have bent, not broke, to get here when I did. But I'm happy that I caught as much as I did. I did have an opportunity before this evening to look at the blog posts of all of the amazing people that we're celebrating tonight. And I can't begin to describe how inspired and energized I am by all of you, what you've been doing and what you plan to do. I was also heartened by your individual stories, how you came to this work, the experiences or events that led you to a place of deep passion for our youngest learners and their families, your why, if you will, which has been spoken to this evening in beautiful ways. But both through what I've heard in my time with you this evening and what I read in the blog posts, the themes of equity, empowerment, voice, representation, and commitment, deep commitment stood out to me in the most profound ways. So I'm thrilled to be here with you to celebrate you in completing this piece of your journey. And if I can humbly say so, I encourage you to keep going. A friend and colleague of mine hit me to the famous words of James Baldwin, who was once quoted as saying that all of the children are all of ours. Hearing about the work that all of you are doing deepens my personal confidence in the strong ties that bind like-minded leaders in this space, and lifting up all of the students and particularly those who have historically received less. Indeed, all of the children are all of ours, and we all have a role to play. And by virtue of the work you're doing, the future is so bright. I also just want to quickly shout you out, Amy, and I haven't had the wonderful pleasure of meeting Titus, but I've heard his name about 30 times in the short time that I've been here. You all are amazing people, and Strategies for Children does so much. I want to thank you for your incredible leadership in developing and facilitating these experiences through the Advocacy Network. This absolutely makes a difference, and I want to thank you and congratulate you as well.
Thank you, Secretary. And we know, like you, Betty, we've all had long days, and it means even more that you would race home and bend some rules to join us for as long as you did. As Mihan pointed out, it is recorded and we will make a highlights reel. We also just feel, we want to unleash these advocates to the world. It took us 4 sessions to get through Advocacy 101, which typically takes us 1 session, because of the level of questions and just wanting to understand the system. We've seen evidence of that play out. You heard in the projects, you heard what people are doing, that they are not going to stop. And I just really want to encourage all of us to think about this pipeline of leadership development and how we can create our own opportunities, find the opportunities that are out there, and support each other. I'll also say just the support to watch each of our network participants give each other. I mean, it was full of love. And I think we don't talk enough about love and the passion of what it takes to do this work and do this work well. And I think it came out once a month on Tuesday. Titus tells everyone it is his favorite meeting that we have, which we don't take personally here at Strategies. So as we continue kind of on this gratitude train, Marissa, if we could just put the slides up, and we'll quickly, we want to thank folks for joining us tonight and that you were able to be with us. We have to give a shout out to our colleague, Alyssa Haywood, who is our blogger, who has really helped us document and share the stories, which we believe are the cornerstone of how we get in touch with our own story, how we understand our why. So thank you, Alyssa, and to Tanya Lazar, our graphic designer, who helped us with our Advocacy Network and create all of our materials. And our team at Strategies, we are a all hands on deck team, and each of us has played a role in this, and there we are in all of our glamorous headshots. And then continuing on, so we did send a box to everybody here, all the Advocacy Network's participants. If we were going to the Oscars, it would have been your swag bag. And in one of the advocacy classes I taught, one of the students did a final project on the workforce, and she used the puzzle piece as a frame. So I love this idea. I told her I was going to steal it and take it one step further. And so this is a picture, Marissa, on the next slide, of a puzzle. So you may have seen it, it's hot air balloons, 1,000 pieces. So in your boxes, you each have 2 pieces, actually. And on the back of that piece, Marissa, you go to the next one. Written on the back of each piece is "You can do anything." So please keep this puzzle piece with you at all times. It will help you remember that when things get tough, or you have too much to do, or you're overwhelmed with everything, you can do anything. And I also shared another piece with you, and I want you to share it with somebody who needs to feel more connected. And just to really believe this, believe in yourselves, believe in each other, and continue to pay this forward and share. Sydney, yes, that's why we had little notes. You can do anything. Marissa, I don't know if there's any more slides. My deep thoughts. We are all part of the puzzle. Each of you are a unique piece of the early childhood landscape. So find out where you fit and go for it. And so we just want to thank each of you for your participation, for all that you do for children, families, educators, and communities. We will continue to spotlight you and share the stories of this network. We will be recruiting for our next round that will start in September. And we have found each of you, from somebody who referred you to us, or who you referred yourself to us, and through the application process. So we'll be relying on other folks. It's a statewide network. And we really are looking forward to the next one, and celebrating, continuing to celebrate you and all of your accomplishments. So Marissa, we can stop sharing and just thank everybody. Keep the love going in the chat. We so appreciate you, each of you for joining us, and we will see you all soon. If not on the 9:30 call, then somewhere in the near future. So thank you.
Can I say something, Amy?
Sure.
How do I invite the Secretary of Education? I would like.
I was like, well,
I want to take advantage of do that. I really would like. How do I? I want to start from now. You know.
Amy, would you kindly connect her with my office, please?
I will.
And I'll be out there.
So please remember me. Okay, so you will remember me, please. If
Of course, I read about you. I knew who you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure. I really would like to have you to come and visit my family.
You'll
You
join
got a
the wall
deal.
of fame at Paris's program of everyone who has joined us. I also want to thank Paul Belcito, who is the executive director of the Davis Foundation, but also the chair of the EEC board. Paul, why not, Paul? Here we go. Free flow. Will you anything you want to say or share?
No, I just want to say thank you. I mean, we were on a call earlier today about how aligned this community is. And the difference is because we've added the voice of so many advocates in the field who are doing the work every single day. You see it in the budget, you see it in the momentum that this field has right now. And it's because of the work that you all are doing and adding your voice. And so I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think it's so important that people like the Secretary of Education, like the chair of the board, come and see and really kind of show and honor that how much you all care, and we appreciate the work that you are doing every day. And we will not be strangers.
Amy,
So everyone,
can I say something really quick, just
yes.
from what Parisa just did. If there's any takeaway for you guys, it's just that what has just happened with Parisa, you have taught us to use what we have. You don't have to wait to get to a meeting. She's right here, she's present. And for me, I know that has been working, where advocacy is not just waiting to be given a seat on the table, but bringing one when one is not there for you. So thank you.
We're going to leave it there. You can see how an hour and a half once a month was not enough time. Thank you for staying. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
And,
so
we so appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.